То, что происходит, вынужденная мера. Ну, просто не оставили никаких шансов поступить иначе.
NATO provoked Russia into launching a war against Ukraine. This is the argument Putin repeats in nearly all of his speeches, in an attempt to put the blame for the war in Ukraine on the West. And some thought leaders are happily repeating his claims.
Putin and the Russians have their reasons for concern over the situation in Ukraine.
This is all about NATO expansion and, more generally, the West's efforts to make Ukraine a bulwark.
It's just only people who know nothing about the history of this conflict would say there was no provocation.
Okay, but what exactly was the provocation?
Нам были даны обещания не продвигать инфраструктуру блока НАТО на восток ни на один дюйм. Ни на один дюйм. Ни одного дюйма на восток. Надули. Просто нагло обманули.
So according to Putin, NATO broke its promise not to expand eastward. Okay, but where is the document where this promise is stated? You mean that the agreement defining the security structure of Europe and the whole world never even existed? How come? Because, for example, when Putin annexed Crimea, he broke Russia's promise to protect the borders and sovereignty of Ukraine, and this promise was documented in the Budapest Memorandum. So what exactly did the NATO bloc break? A spoken promise to Gorbachev? Gorbachev himself said that no such promise existed.
Das heißt, es ist ein Mythos, dass sie vom Westen bezüglich der NATO-Osterweiterung betrogen wurden?
Ja, das ist tatsächlich ein Mythos. Da hat die Presse, die liebe Presse, ihre Hand im Spiel gehabt.
And besides, all new NATO members joined it voluntarily. They chose to do it. Actually, Russia made this choice really easy for them by invading Moldova in 1991, then Georgia, and finally Ukraine, none of which, by the way, are NATO members. For many years, Russia has brought nothing but war and destruction to its neighbors. It's not a mystery why many of them are seeking NATO's protection. For example, Russia's invasion of Ukraine forced the historically neutral Sweden and Finland to apply for NATO membership. And how exactly did NATO provoke Putin leading up to the war? The last country bordering Russia who joined NATO did so in 2004, 18 years ago. And finally, no provocation can justify murdering hundreds of thousands of people. No geopolitical goal can justify attacking maternity clinics and hospitals. It is impossible to justify the deaths of children, 500 of which the Russian army has already killed. It is difficult to pin down the motives of the thought leaders who spread Putin's narratives. But by doing so, they are normalizing Russia's invasion and playing into the hands of a dictator who started the biggest war in Europe in 75 years.